Hello everyone, welcome to Our Story, His Story. I'm Sheila Priestley and a member of Rich Hill Methodist Church. Well, as you can see, I've been nicked. I got the dreaded phone call to do this on Thursday. This was Nick's second attempt to get me, the first being when he called the day before on the pretense of introducing me to Lola, his new family dog, because he knows how much I love dogs. However, this meeting is still to take place because John and I weren't at home. But it got me thinking a wee bit about dogs and my love for dogs. I have always loved dogs, and ever since I was a child, I used to torture my mum and dad by bringing home all the strays, both cats and dogs, that I came across in Armagh where I grew up. I remember one that I brought home that we named Lassie, and my poor mother had to treat it for the mange. We even brought it up to our holiday place in Donegal, and the dog roamed around, and she actually eventually started to kill the neighbours' chickens. It was not good. Now, I find myself now when I'm out and about in the car or John's driving, and if I see somebody walking a dog, I'm afraid to admit that my attention goes directly to the dog and not the owner. Not good. People who know me know I would love to own a dog, but in the past we had a bad experience with one, well, for John anyway. Our wee dog was called Fudge, and he was a Cairn Terrier, but he was very vocal, so much so he would have barked himself hoarse at even a hole in the hedge. He, unfortunately for me, died young, and we decided to have no more for a while. That was 30 years ago. Not good. However, what keeps me going is when we go to Donegal, I get my doggy fix in the form of two black Labradors called Pepsi and Odie. And that's me with my two mates. They belong to our local neighbours, and I've known them since they were pups. And I've actually realised that their personalities and behaviour remind me of God's presence in my life. Now, Pepsi and Odie are always there when we arrive at the house. They actually hear and recognise the sound of our car a long way off and are sitting there ready for us when we arrive at our gate. Pepsi actually squeals in delight, and I have to confess, so do I. They always show their unconditional love for us. And God always shows His unconditional love for me. And when I stray, He is always there for me and waits for me to come back to Him. 1 John 14 verse 16 says, "And so we know and rely on the love God has for us. God is love. Whoever lives in love lives in God and God in them." Now, as with every one of us, life is never plain sailing. We encounter many challenges, hard times, and many difficult decisions. But through these times, I have always felt God's presence with me, with Him guiding and directing me, and being a steadfast and faithful friend and guide. During these difficult times, I've drawn closer to Him and been blessed. It's through the tough times that we learn more about Him and feel Him close. Now, Pepsi and Odie are full of bluster, but they always guard and protect me. When we're at Donegal, our house becomes their territory, which they feel they need to guard. There's lots of barking at people and cars that dare to go past our house. Everyone thinks they're our dogs, much to John's irritation. During my life, I have felt God's protection. In Proverbs 18, verse 10, it says, "The name of the Lord is a strong tower, and the righteous run to it and are safe." This has always given me assurance that God is always there for me and looking out for me. So back to Donegal. When we go for a walk, Pepsi and Odie are our constant companions. We walk, they walk with us. If we stop to admire the view or just have a bit of a sit down, they stop too. They show great patience as they wait for us to start up again. And if we ever go into our holiday neighbour's house for a cup of coffee, Pepsi and Odie always wait patiently outside for us. I marvel at how patient God is with me. I so often let him down and don't go to him as often as I should, but he waits patiently for me and is there to greet me when I come back to him. Now, Pepsi in particular is a very gentle, affectionate and loving dog. She constantly wants her paw held when I'm sitting. Now seriously, she squeezes my hand when I squeeze her paw. John doesn't believe me. The dogs would never huff or show their disappointment in me. When I'm cross with them, and it does happen, they quickly forgive my wrath and readily keep loving me. Now God, I know, always loves me. His love is constant and doesn't depend on how I feel towards him. I know he readily forgives me when I confess my feelings. As some of you know, I enjoy painting pet portraits for people. Now my favourite part is when I paint the eyes, as I feel they show the animal's character. God's character is so evident to me. He is love, always showing his unconditional love for me, no matter what I think, do and say. He showed that love by allowing his son to die for me. He is kind, patient, long-suffering. He is steadfast and sure. He protects, guides and supports. He is my constant companion and faithful friend. He constantly shows his unfailing love for me. My prayer is that he would be all these things to you. Thank you, God, for teaching me your love through the Bible, through prayer, through a word and support from my family and friends, and through dogs. Isaiah 41 verse 10 says, "So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous hand." Okay, John's not about, so I'm relying on you lot to put a wee bit of pressure on him to buy me a dog, please. Give him dog's abuse. Thanks for listening and have a good day.